the difference between these two quarterbacks that will complement one another nicely. After the penalty against Swain, setting up shop at the 45 and working this down to the 43-yard line is Saylor on the keeper. Here comes a third down. This is the group trying to get off the field. Swain's defense brought to you by Bojangles.
Yeah, 18 per game, couple shutouts in the last 3 games, led by defensive end Trent Jones. Also Drew Skaggs on the other side, a Wofford commit. Colton Schuler anchors into the middle of the linebacker. And at the secondary, Drew Cody, who's going to be a quarterback. Corey Stillwell, right corner, who's going to be a wide receiver, kickoff return, and punt return. One of the things we'll get into tonight, the number of players going both ways for both teams.
Ironman football. Maroon Devils will run a 4-3 base tonight as well. And you said it, Tom, a lot of Ironman football. You're going to see these players in complementing roles. You know, it's funny, one of the big punch words today, complementary football. Yes, these quarterbacks will be complementary to one another. The offensive and defensive units will be, because these guys will be going both ways. And just as we talk about it, who was that? But Drew Cody, the QB on the other side, you'll see in a moment, making the stop.
Yeah, both are free safeties, by the way. And, I mean, yeah, how often you see a quarterback put his head down and, I mean, right in there and make a tackle out there on the edge. And both of them, I mean, that was a major collision between two guys that are quarterback.
In this case, complementary football, complimenting yourself in some ways on the other side of the football. And here is a third down play that will have to wait as our officials will sort out another flag. Have not yet introduced you to our officials. It is Todd Doolittle, our referee, who you hear from here. And as they walk off the offsides penalty, which means another pocket change laundry first down, you get one more look at the movement. We'll give you the rest of the officials. The umpire is Dale Buchanan. The linesman is Josh Harris. The line judge is Daniel McNabb. Taylor Brooks is our back judge. And, of course, the clock being run here in the press box area. 25-second variety by Brian Schuler, Tanner Lawson involved, and also here in the press box helping out is Stephen Cooper. That's all the officials responsible for taking care of things tonight. But Tom, that was a huge call because it moves the chains. Then you get the second down scenario behind the chains. So these kind of maybe be a picture of the night, a little back and forth between the momentum moments.
Yeah, you saw him step back, and that was what caused that. And then you saw Aiden Smiley, the defensive tackle at 6'1", 265, make one tackle at the line of scrimmage. They're big on that front defensive line.
Going to the air on the far side. How about stepping in between a couple of tacklers? Garcia is inside the 25. That was all Javen Garcia after the catch that go round.
Yeah, 30 catches, 535 yards, 4 TD, long of 85, 17.5 per catch. Nice job there. And, you know, we talked about the Swain coach, one of the things and one of the keys, the ability to handle the explosive plays and make a tackle in space. And that particular time, we saw that the young man's ability to get a big game.
Yeah, sponsor Pocket Change Laundry getting a lot of airtime here in the early going with all these first downs being reeled in by this Cherokee drive. And here is the quarterback again, going to keep it up the middle this time, right in between the hash marks and down to the 21. Knocking on the door of the First Bank red zone, John Saylor and company. But remember, they started this push from behind the sticks, so still some work to do. They're going to need the 12-yard line in order to move the chains. And there's the Cherokee head coach out to talk things over with his quarterback, just getting his program established. Curtis Cagle, we'll talk about it. He wants to run a certain style, right? But was so kind of late to the party in some ways with his hire that they've kept a lot of what's been there historically familiar to these players. And in that vein, here's a handoff that will take it inside the 20 to the 19. Well, initial First Bank red zone opportunity coming for Cherokee. But they're going to have to do it, Tom, on a third down and sizable.
Yeah, what you saw there, they just jammed it at the line of scrimmage, and they're going to load it in the box as well. And not a whole lot going on right there. Comes up a pretty big play. I would imagine maybe we're in 4-down territory.
Going to be third and a long 6. Again, looking for the 12-yard line if they're going to move the chains here. Initial drive of the game for the Braves. And that's caught over the middle. Well-designed route. And the first time we get to call the name of Chula Hallincrane. What a target he is in the passing game. And take a look at the job he does here. Across the middle, first down.
Yeah, able to find him open there. Hallincrane, we mentioned Garcia as well. Saylor started last game out, 13 out of 16, 254. along the way. He was a quarterback last year. He had to come in actually with 343 rushing, 6 touchdowns, even caught 10 passes, showing his versatility.
Yeah, take a look at Chula Highland. Very nice looking player. He makes the catch that moves the chains. First down in the heart of the First Bank red zone, and here's another pocket change laundry first down play. Going to be a rush by Saylor near side. Impressive drive. Some work still to be done here. His second and goal is coming, but Tom, Braves have been sharp on this initial drive.
Yeah, they have, and, helped by a couple of penalties as well. And I tell you, that's a nice play by Trent Jones, the DN, coming backside, 6'3", 255 senior. Drew Skaggs headed to Wofford on the other side, 6'5", 285 senior. A couple of bookend guys that are very good.
Already 5 carries, nearly 30 yards for John Saylor on this drive. This is the opening possession. Swain not having touched the football just yet. Guess what? Already under 7 minutes to play in period number 1. But now trying to make it count with some points. As the snap's taken from just beyond the 10 on second down and goal. Looking to throw, now trying to work his way out of trouble. Saylor comes near side. He will toss a pass to the end zone, and around the world it goes to try to get in position to catch the football, but it falls to the turf, incomplete.
Yeah, that's one of those, I think, with his ability to run the football, that he had to do again, might just pull it down, because we saw the contact that he made a little while ago and how powerful he is. But he tried to fit it in there. And,
well, almost on the turnaround there, Tom, as the intended target was on the scene. That was Ledford, who he was trying to get the football to.
And who was defending? Quarterback, dash, free safety, Drew Cody, 6 feet, 175 senior.
Second time we've called his name on this drive. He's been in the midst of just about everything defensively, and that's where you want your playmakers to be. Here's the third and goal. And room down near the goal line. The big guys up front still trying to provide a push. And did the football come out? There seems to be an indicator Swain has come away with a touchback on the Welch carry, and they have something to celebrate on the near side. As who else? You've been talking about him on this drive, Tom. Cody comes away with the football here. Let's see if you can get a real sense of it coming out. Right there's the football on the ground, and who's there to grab it? But the guy who's going to engineer the upcoming drive. Drew Cody defensively already making his mark on this game as he falls on it in the end zone for the touchback. And boy, tough moments for Cherokee. After all that, the Braves are going to come away empty-handed in terms of points.
Trying to just get a little bit more. The big shove, the whistle didn't blow, and you play through the whistle effectively.
Have you met this guy?
Yeah, I think we have.
16 is going to be the quarterback for Swain County already, as I said, making his mark on this contest. He'll run with it. Far side, got a seam. He's up across the 25 to the 28-yard line. All right, then really lunged across the 30. We'll see where they spot his forward progress. Tom, what can we expect to see from the surrounding cast as you look at the Swain offense brought to you by Bojangles for the first time?
Well, they averaged 26.6 per game, 31 the last 3. Zeke Gillespie is the running back, 111 per game. Corey Stillwell is a player out on the edge as a wide receiver that can make it happen. And then Skaggs, Drew Skaggs, 6'5", 285 senior, the Wofford commit. He will anchor that offensive line at the right tackle, and all three of those guys go both ways.
Here it comes, near side, and plenty of room across the 45 to the 50, midfield, and a little spurt from Gillespie. There's Zeke Gillespie. We will call his name, at least we expect to, regularly tonight. He has the pocket change laundry first down for the home team.
Yeah, he's the guy with the track speed, 10.500 meters. He gets out on the edge. You may not catch him, and did a good job to read it initially and get out to the edge. Pretty good angle there to finally knock him out of bounds. And who did that, John Saylor?
Why not? One quarterback on defense making plays, another expecting to do the same. Just below that Devils logo here in Swain. Happy to have you with us at Swain County tonight as they have welcomed in the Braves, their rivals from Cherokee. And here is the rush across the 45 down to the 43-yard line. as we look at the defensive alignment for the Cherokee Braves.
Yeah, when you take a look at that, those young men, they are led by defensive end Raylan Ledford up front, 7 tackles for loss. Middle linebacker Millie Garcia, 45 tackles on the year, 3 for loss. And you get into the secondary, we talked about Saylor there a moment ago. Number 2 in tackles is 56. On top of that, he's also got a field goal. He's a punt return, kickoff return guy as well.
Levi Tramper, Millie Garcia up the middle, tremendous. And then those players that are the skill players going both ways will grab your attention also. How about the hole created by the guys up front this time around? And working right through it, Drew Cody. Move the chains again. That's another pocket change laundry first down as the Devils remain on the march.
Well, Cody's a guy that can get you some yards at 57 for 282, 6 touchdowns at about 5 yards per carry. Swain County, they want historically, and this year want to run it. 74% of their plays are on the ground. They average 214.8 per game, 6.5 per carry, and I think we can all mathematically put that together, and that's pretty effective for some first downs and some scores.
Not a bad look. Going to stay on the ground here. Gillespie, he breaks through and has one man to beat it to 5. He's down at the 3-yard line. There is another dose of Zeke Gillespie, and he'll have them in the heart of the red zone. A First Bank red zone chance coming.
Well, look how they pulled the offensive line, opened the hole. We saw him get to the edge, and with that speed, that time up inside, cut off some of the blocks from the big guys up front.
Well, remember, Cherokee took it on to march, going 54 yards and taking it to the doorstep of the end zone on their opening drive. The fumble into the end zone and the touchback, sparking this Swain drive, which will end in points. Cody takes it over the right side, and he has the initial Foundation Solutions touchdown of the night. This is how the home team surges out front first.
It made the play at the other end defensively, and with recovering in the end zone, you got to the 20-yard line, put it on the ground, got it outside, up inside, running back, quarterback. Very impressive drive to begin things.
The difference of fumble at the goal line and the inability to complete the drive on one side. By the way, Drew Cody recovered that fumble, and then he found the other end zone to complete the Swain County opening march.
Have questions about childhood vaccines? Get real answers. Start a conversation with your child. Have questions about childhood vaccines? Get real answers. Start a conversation with your child's doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov.
Both teams have had the football once in this contest. Both drove the length of the field in front of them. One drive ended in a fumble, the other drive ended in a touchdown. And that's 7 points on the board from Swain, capping a 6-play, 80-yard drive, 2:24 off the game clock, and a 4-yard touchdown run from the guy who both recovered the fumble in one end zone and rushed into the other to put his team up 7-0.
I'll tell you, we talk about it all the time. It doesn't count to get across the double stripes there. That was a possession for Cherokee that was very impressive. 5 minutes and 22 seconds and came up empty, and then it was Swain County keeping the ball on the ground and doing what they do. Got the touchdown.
Drew Cody with the 4-yard touchdown run, our first Foundation Solutions touchdown of the night. And how about this? Tripped up at around the 27-yard line. We'll see where they spot this for the Braves to take over. Got to erase the memory quickly of what happened just a moment ago. This Cherokee team, as they showed you, very capable of taking it down the field quickly. A methodical drive last time. Everything but the ending, just what they had hoped that time around. We'll see if they can replicate that. And we always are going to keep an eye on who's coming out there quarterback-wise from one possession to the next. It is John Saylor out there once more. Tom told you, Saylor took over. He was the quarterback a year ago, but he took over with Dawson Panther, a little sick last week, who had started the earlier games this season. And he performed very nicely and is back out there one more time. He's going to give this time to Kingston Welch. And there to bring him to a halt is Swain. Let's take another look at this.
Yeah, nothing there. Had to bounce outside and one-handed able to get it done.
We'll remind you that we'll have a school bus stop of the game at some point before the contest is done. Should come your way in the fourth quarter. You know, every time you see the stop sign out and the school buses are on the road, make sure you stop as necessary. Every state has a law to keep our children safe. This is tossed into the secondary, and it's going to be intercepted. Intercepted on the far side, and it's going to be
Zeke Glaspie got it there. Able to come down with it. And a turnover and great field position. So going to have great field position, 44-yard line, a 3:16 to play in the first quarter. And just a moment ago, able to put together a 6-play, 80-yard drive to get on the board to lead early.
Devils with it again. So a second turnover. The fumble into the end zone, the interception here, and right back to work this offense. Goes right into the teeth of the defense this time around. Here's another look. All kind of bodies colliding. You got to be impressed, Tom, with what the offensive line did on that opening drive for Swain. Guys up front doing a nice job already.
Yeah, they're big guys up front, led by Aiden Smiley at the center at 6'1", 265, at 285, 225, 265, 275, 255. And each week we do these rival ball games, and it seems like they get bigger and bigger up front. And athletic, too.
Second down and 9. And all kind of real estate out on this near side. And you know what Zeke Glaspie's speed can provide. He's down near the 35. Glaspie makes quite a 1-2 punch with Drew Cody. And they were the heavy lifters on the most recent drive, looking to be that again. He makes it third and manageable.
Yeah, Millie Garcia, the middle linebacker, had to come over and make the play. Got the chip block out on the edge. And Garcia, third on the team in tackles with 45 coming in last year. One of the top tacklers, return starter with 69 a year ago.
3rd 2. Cody bounces it outside, and he's got the first down. Like he just lost his footing at around the 30. Cody maybe designs on a whole lot more, but he did what he needed to. Tommy moved the chains with another pocket change laundry first down.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if he doesn't lose his footing, he might turn the corner and score, although there was coming over there with Saylor to help make the tackle there. But we've seen it 3 or 4 times now with the slipping on this turf.
We remind you that Pocket Change Laundry is not just a chore, but an experience in excellence. That's Pocket Change Laundry, sponsors of our first downs. Again, Glaspie, he's through traffic and down near the First Bank red zone. Looks like he's forced out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line, and he went through there with some intention, Tom.
Well, and I tell you, the speed that he has and also the power as well, if he gets any kind of crease, again, Sanders got to come over and help make the tackle there, but we've seen him be able to bounce it, and if he gets into the open area there, he's got a chance to take it the distance each and every time with that speed. We talked about it at the 100.
6th touch of the football, 71 yards to this point for Zeke Glaspie. Already putting together a solid night as we close in on the final minute and a half of the opening quarter. And look at Cody go. Second rushing touchdown of the night. This one going to be of the 20-yard-ish variety. Just like that, he has his Maroon Devils up by a couple scores.
Took advantage of the turnover on the interception. It was a bit overthrown. And you know what? keep it on the ground. You've been able to get great yardage on each and almost every single time from different players. And, you got a key on Gillespie, what he can do, but Cody can pull it down, and he's got a couple of TDs.
20-yard Foundation Solution touchdown run, and that's the second Foundation Solutions touchdown runs of the night for Cody. Just like that, it's 14-0. It's 14. Punches it right on through the extra point true, just like that. Reminder, you want to stick around for the Asheville Chevy Show at the half. Asheville Chevy Show, one of the premier features of Friday Night Rivals here on WLOS, WMYA. Joy to have you with us, and you won't want to miss all the extra things you'll learn about these two communities, as well as highlights, stats, a whole lot more, all part of the Asheville Chevy Show at the half. I know you never miss the Asheville Chevy Show.
Absolutely not.
We are certainly looking forward to that this week.
Guys do a great job.
100%. Nelson taking care of all the good work for you on the field. You'll meet a lot of personalities as part of that as well. It's going to be returned to the 29-yard line. Top couple of quick scores there for homestanding Swain County. Devils coming out with a good bit of energy here tonight, and it shows on the scoreboard to this point.
The defense got it done to begin with. Cherokee came out, put together a nice drive, 5 minutes, 22 seconds, from the 30-yard line down to the 1. The ball was fumbled into the end zone, recovered by Cody at that point. They came out, put together the 6-play, 80-yard drive, and Cody from 4 yards. And then the interception came. Gillespie able to pick that one off, and 44 yards at 58 to
you just documented the 4 big plays in this contest so far. The 2 turnovers, the fumble, and then the interception, and the 2 touchdown runs for Cody. Here's Cherokee trying to get something going on the perimeter, but it is read well and snuffed out this time by Swain County.
Hey, Gillespie was there, but boy, look at the speed, defensive end. We talked a lot about Trent Jones, who made the tackle there, and Drew Skaggs on the other side. And they are very experienced up front. All 4 of those guys on the D line, Aiden Smiley and Noah Brown at the D tackle. All of them start on the offensive line. And Cherokee coach talking to us thought might be a little bit of an advantage. He tries not to have his offensive and defensive lines and play both ways. But so far, so good for Swain on the D line.
Well, that'll show up more at the end when those players are rested. Certainly one of the strategy pieces. Getting out of trouble initially and bringing it near side is Saylor. And he'll work it up near the 40-yard line. And the other thing we learned visiting with Curtis Cagle in his first season there with the Braves, he's a guy who wants to run an option-style offense, Tom, but didn't have the ability to instill the entirety of that he was sharing with you because of when he was hired. He said over time he'll get that in. They're trying to do some things that are familiar right now. They would like to return to form from that opening drive when they marched down but didn't come away with points. All points right now belonging to Swain County. It's 14-0 Devils after 1. game night dinner gets you stressed? Stop by Ingles for great choices from the Ingles Deli, rotisserie chicken, freshly made salads, and a delicious hot bar and sub bar. Dinner and a snap, then it's off to the game. Ingles, low prices, love the savings. Well, a lot of support on the far side. Those who've made the short trip over to represent the Braves of Cherokee. 2017 state champions. What a experience that was, taking care of North Duplin, and that was the first time ever, a 21-7 win in Raleigh, North Carolina, when they brought the championship home to a nation. Just one of the great memories in the history of this program. And, you know, you got to think about the women's basketball team, current, reigning, and back-to-back champions of the state championship variety. So both these teams know a lot about state championship glory, Tom. And, boy, you think back about that moment in 2017 for Cherokee, and it stands out as a highlight for the Braves.
And you were fortunate enough to broadcast that game for Sinclair on a statewide network.
Absolutely. A lot of fun that day. Meant a lot because, again, you can bring home a championship to a community, but that was the team playing for a nation, means so much. And this game on a night like this means so much because they share a border. These two schools, family connections, we were told. You know, you got family members that play on both sides of this rivalry. It's what makes Friday nights like this so special. And certainly something that you can talk about for a lifetime. All right, a quarter in the books. Let's take a look at what your keys were to the game coming in, Tom. Walk us through how these teams have performed so far in terms of your keys to the game.
Well, if you're Cherokee, you want to be able to stop the run, and they haven't been able to do that very effectively. Not many have this year against Swain. And they also offensively wanted to be unpredictable a bit. Maybe throw when you might think they'd run and do a couple different things against a good Swain defense. And then Swain wants to pressure the quarterback, and he knew that the possibility existed to play two, and they have different skill sets there. And then very important and he talked at length about special teams play and what they've been able to accomplish this year with a couple of blocked punts, with a punt return, kickoff return, some other things like that. That make him come into play here tonight as well.
That's certainly a point of emphasis for these two coaches. Of course, for Cherokee, Coach Curtis Cagle in his first season. We told you a little bit about his system. Of course, that state championship we were referencing in 2017 for the Braves under the direction of Kent Briggs, a guy, Western Carolina guy through and through. You think about his time Catamounts, and spent some time on staffs at NC State. Full circle moment when he led this team to a championship there in Raleigh back in 2017. But those some of the continued building blocks and foundation of a program that it's going to be on the move, and that the guy well traveled, and Coach Cagle going to have him headed in the right direction. You can say so many positive things when you flip over on the other side with Coach Holt's team with the football now about what they've done already in the first quarter of this football game. And the fact, Tom, that they come into tonight 8-time state champs, 3 of those since the turn of the century, 01, 04, and most recently 2011, and a team that controls its own destiny so far in 2025.
Yeah, and when you take a look, and we'll get a little bit more into this as the game goes on, about the conference and the way it is right now. Murphy at 3-0, Robbinsville 3-1, Swain 2-1. There's kind of a line of demarcation there. So each one of these games is they're always big, but right where you are, you had that one tough loss, 23-20, a little bit earlier at Robbinsville this year. So each one's a kind of a must-win situation if you want to challenge for the championship.
And that loss to Robbinsville bounced back nicely against Hayesville to get the job done. As in this region, they've in many ways beat up on one another along the way, the respective teams. But you said it, in a position to control their own destiny. And he's one of 2 players right now averaging up over 10 yards per carry. Cody has 51 yards. Glaspie comes into this drive with 71 yards, and they're averaging 10 and 11 yards respectively. Don't need that much on this third down. Just 1 yard needed, a 3rd down and 1 to keep the drive going on the Cherokee side of the 50. And that'll do that and more. Speaking of Glaspie, he is inside the 25 to the 23. He's keeping that average up there, Tom. He's running for more than 11 yards per carry, and he's closing in on 100 for the night. But the last thing they want to see on the home sideline right now is an injury timeout. Is a little slow to get up this go-round.
Boy, just hanging on. We were talking about Holling Crane there, and if he doesn't make that tackle, that's a touchdown. Just hanging on, drag him down by the shirt.
We're going to take a break while they tend to the injured Maroon Devil on the field. We'll give you an update. Hopefully it's going to be a positive one when we come back on the other side.
Yeah.
Furniture Concepts is a presenting sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. They have over $5 million of furniture in stock and ready to be delivered to you. Visit their Arden and Waynesville showrooms or go online at CarolinaFurnitureConcepts.com. Well, Tom, something that we did not want to see, certainly no one on either side wanted to see. Slow moving off. Zeke Glaspie a moment ago. Remember, he had touched the football just 8 times and already had 97 yards, but he looked to be a little banged up as he came to the near side.
Didn't put any pressure on that right leg, right ankle, and boy, he had shown his explosiveness and his ability to run inside and outside. We talked about the great speed, so hopefully he'll be able to recover from that, but just couldn't put any pressure on that. And it's Caden Sawyer, 5'11", 175, the junior, 29 carries, 176 yards, 4 touchdowns. And the numbers quite like Glaspie, but 6.1 yards per carry.
Well, this is a guy that has scored the 2 touchdowns so far. And Cody will call his own name again, tiptoes down the sideline, and they will not mark him out until he reaches the 16-yard line. So another First Bank red zone chance. And Drew Cody carrying a little more of the load himself now with another nice run.
2-year captain, you really got to feel good for him. The broken collarbone in game 2 last year. Coach telling us that 5 players had season-ending injuries last year.
Amazing.
All 5 of them went both ways. So think about losing 10 starters, and it resulted in a tough year, which very seldom happens when 1 to 10 a year ago.
Yeah, speaks to the record, and you can see this year just how differently things are with all hands on deck. Down inside the 10 to the 9. And that's going to set up a first down and goal. Take another look at this run. You said it. They've got a number of weapons they can bring your way. Caden Sawyer carries this down to the 9-yard line. First down and goal with 9:35 and working its way downward to go in this opening half of action. All the points belonging to Swain. Devils looking for more of them as we speak. And still up somehow, lunging for the end zone, and he'll find it. Drew Cody, yet another Foundation Solutions touchdown, and that one was sheer will.
Yeah, he was hit about the 7 or 8 yard line, and his power broke him out of the arm tackle. You get one more look at it here. Like he was wrapped up there, but keep feet churning and reaches across and got that touchdown.
How about the hat trick? Already 3 touchdown runs for Drew Cody. And John Stevenson's kick, as true as it has been each time. Here's the 3rd touchdown of the night for 16 to put them up 21-0. Well, time for our Caroline Albee Smile Cam. Caroline Albee Orthodontics, sponsors of our Smile Cam as we travel around the state of North Carolina. And plenty to smile about when you think of the way things have gone for the homestanding crew thus far. And it's been an all smiles weekend here, Tom. Hall of Fame weekend, and so many memories putting Caroline Albee Orthodontics smiles on the faces of Swain County fans everywhere. You know, we walked through the Hall of Fame just a little bit earlier. One of the great tributes you're going to find anywhere around the state of North Carolina to those who have made this place special.
Yeah, you and I get around all over the place in North Carolina, South Carolina over these many years, and that was very impressive. Right back behind or to the side of the stands on the far sideline, their Hall of Fame.
Congratulations to the Hall of Fame inductees. We'll give them to you on the backside of this kickoff, as 5 were inducted in this year's Hall of Fame class. It's going to work its way into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. Joanna McMahon, Carrie Powell, Nathan Holcomb, Keith Payne, who you may remember as the track coach who passed away last year here, also inducted, as well as former coach Billy Jenkins. So some names that'll be familiar to fans in this portion of the state, all inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Again, as we said, one of the tremendous tributes that we have found in all of our time covering the sport, the way they handle their athletic history here at Swain County. It's a standard. It's something to certainly be recognized.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a beautiful area, and with the hills behind us, and you see all the state championships, the water towers over there. They were saying, you guys need to get up on top of that water tower.
I'm going to leave that to you, Tom, but I did enjoy looking at the state championship history, and you look down there and you see those colors. You can't help but think about Heath Schuler and his days here. His obviously image was up as you worked your way in there to the field house areas and certainly the Hall of Fame areas, and there they are, all listed from 79 through that most recent championship in 2011, honoring the 8-time state champion Devils football program. It really has been a special weekend for us to be here. Well, there you go. Everybody with their own perspective and own thoughts on what we've seen so far. I got to ask you for yours, Tom, as they go to work here on second down. You're going to make it a first down pending the flag. There is a flag down at the 22-yard line. But while they sort this out, what are your thoughts on what we've witnessed so far?
Well, the Swain County is a team that wants to run the football. We gave you the numbers, 214 and 6.5 yards per carry, and they have put that in full evidence here tonight. Physical play, able to, and we talk with the Cherokee side of things, and they got to be able to stop it. They haven't been able to do it so far. They got the one, they made the play defensively needed to do. They got a team special teams play for the interception, and then they've been able to take advantage offensively. So all 3 phases of the game right now.
Yeah, good night on so many fronts for the home team so far. We should say, we were talking about what a joy it's been to be here and how impressive things have been, the way things have been handled. We should mention a big thank you to Athletic Director Scotty McMahon, who welcomed us and gave us a sense of what we, were talking about a moment ago, athletically, history-wise. Of course, Tyler Schuler, the principal, Jeff Marr, the assistant AD, Joe Holt on the Maroon Devil Network, and of course Coach Sherman Holt, everybody on his staff. Big thank you to those who are hosting us here tonight, as well as all of the individuals that have made it possible for us to have the Braves on our air. Here's a pass in behind the intended receiver that time, and third down from behind the sticks. Boy, things started so strong for this Cherokee squad, marched all the way down to the 1-yard line. Of course, if you weren't with us, that drive ended with a fumble into the end zone, recovered by Drew Cody, who has in many ways taken the game over since. But there's certainly a first drive that you could build on for Cherokee if they can return to some of that kind of form.
Momentum and motion at that particular point in time, and then the ability to drive and score, and then get the interception, and then get another touchdown.
Trying on a third down to take a shot toward the marker, and they look to use the size of Draylon Ledford, but he was covered, and it is incomplete. So fourth down coming, and Cherokee set to kick it away with 8 minutes to play in the opening half.
Yeah, one thing you don't want to do, either team really, or any team, is get behind the change, and you know what you kind of have to do, and there aren't a whole lot of 3rd and 17 plays. If he gets it there maybe a little bit earlier, he's got a chance there, but it hung up a bit and able to come from behind and make contact and knock it away.
181 total yards for Swain right now. Cherokee doorstep of 70 of them to this point. As we go inside, 8 minutes to play in the opening half, and there's going to be good field position for Swain County once again. Devils going to have it on the Cherokee side of the 50 after that 26-yard punt. Here's a look at Kaimani Falima Squirrel, one of the guys who will spend some time on that line both ways. You know, you talk about the Ironman football and Cherokee's desire to keep some of these players up on the line rested. We'll see if that can show itself toward the end of the contest in the second half. Right now it's about hanging tough, because here's another drive that shapes up as a scoring opportunity. Still working to Caden Sawyer, who came in on that last drive for the injured Zeke Glaspie. Going to be a good stop here by that defensive front for Cherokee.
Yeah, you need to get some stops here at some point in time, and they've been able to run the ball effectively inside and outside. It's a Cherokee defense that gives up 27.4 per game. It's been kind of difficult in that area. The last two, 35 and 37 in their last two outings, but you need to get a stop, and they have been unable to do that so far in the game.
Cherokee has them behind the sticks now, though. Let's see what happens on the second down play. To the air this time. That is caught at around the 30. It's going to be a handful of yards shy of the first down, but it is a big chunk of what was needed as Corey Stillwell reels it in.
Yeah, Stillwell with 15 catches coming in, 14.3 per catch. And you see Saylor making the catch as well. We didn't mention, but Silas Stanberry, one of their outstanding receivers, and then their leading receiver, 17, had a broken foot last week, and he is obviously not in the ball game tonight. So Stillwell is a very versatile guy that can play defense and also in the return game as well. He had a 70-yard punt for a return in one of the Mountain Heritage game up there.
Absolutely. Haven't had to mention it. That was the first pass of the night.
That's right.
On the Swain County side of things. This is going to be inside the 30, down to the 29. That's still going to be a little shy of the marker here. Going to be 4th down, but you're very much on the visitor's side of the 50-yard line if you're Swain County. So a 4th and 2. And we'll see the offense stay right where it is. Well, this is a huge opportunity for the Braves. Now Cody right in behind those guys up front. This is going to be very close, Tom. It'll really depend on where they spot this football.
Yep. Did a pretty good job to bang it up inside there, and he was filled up the whole by a number, including Kamani Folima Squirrel was in there. He got a tackle the play before.
You know, we talked about him going both ways. He stands as the center on the offensive side of the ball, and this is going to be a measurement. An official timeout to see as they will bring the change this direction.
Well,
and this is one of those that this is a determination of whose football it's going to be.
Yeah, that was middle linebacker Millie Garcia kind of submarine in there to slow him down a bit and then finished off.
So they stretch out the chains. And it is just enough for a first down. The drive will continue for Swain County by the nose of the football.
And the other thing we were talking about with both coaches, and field position was so big, and it usually is in every game. A lot of it coach speak to a certain extent, but in this particular case, after the interception, they had the short field, took it over to the 44-yard line. This one at the 38, and it's tough enough to stop them anyway, but you don't want to give them a short field.
Maroon Devils continue the drive following the first down. Cody finds an opening and works his way home. Another touchdown. How about this? 4 scores are up on the board, and they all belong to Drew Cody. Yet another Foundation Solutions touchdown run for the Devils QB.
I'll tell you, the key, watch this, his patience, because if he jams that up inside, he waited for the blocks, they sealed it on the edge, and then he accelerates, and he was able to get to the sideline and took it down. A nice block. I mean, you saw him just run him right out of bounds on the far sideline. He waited, he cut, he scores.
A 28-yard touchdown run to go with a couple of 4-yard runs and a 20-yard run from earlier. And those 4 scores have the Swain Maroon Devils out front 28-0 on the strength of their QB's wills. Well, when we get to the Asheville Chevy Show at the half, you're going to see a whole lot of the rushing exploits of Drew Cody. He has already rushed for 102 yards on 10 carries and 4 touchdowns. Those highlights, a whole lot more coming your way as part of the Asheville Chevy Show at the half. Tom, his 4th touchdown run just a moment ago, 28 yards, his longest of the night. And, of course, the 4 touchdowns, all the scoring in the game so far. The extra point was no good, so 27-0 actually our score at this point after a missed extra point. But the 4 touchdown runs for the QB have created some separation.
Yeah, he came in with 6 touchdowns, and he's got 4 more, so having a heck of a night.
Yeah, he may match his season total on the evening. He's got 4 of them, and we're not even out of the first half yet. Here comes a flag on the return up across the 15 to the 17. 5:34 with which to work in the first half. We'll see from where Cherokee will be working. Our referee.
Yeah, we talked to him before the game.
Looking like he's going to walk this off the other direction. Always good to see those who make nights like tonight possible. Mr. Doolittle, Mr. Buchanan, Mr. Harris, Mr. McNabb, Mr. Brooks handling things on the field and do such a nice job making these games possible. Here's one more look at the 28-yard touchdown run. I'll underscore it, Tom, his longest of the night. 4 touchdowns for 16.
Yeah, able to tightrope as well, but I think the whole key we talked about a moment ago is his ability to read the blocks in front of him and the ability of those guys to get out on the edge and not hold and for giving him a chance to get down the sideline. And hey, we had a pass on that drive, right?
Well, not only that, we got some numbers we can work with. 10 carries, 102 yards.
10.
So he's
2.
averaging 10.2 yards per carry on the night. So
who said we couldn't do math?
Very nice math.
Tim Amos, come on.
Tim's got the numbers right in front of us just to make sure we're not going off cue here and off the script this time around. 5:17 and ticking downward. But impressive night for Andrew Cody all the way around. Again, got to remember, for all the talk about the 4 touchdown runs for 16, he's the guy who recovered the football that turned aside the opening drive when it looked like they were going to be working from a deficit tonight. So he's been involved in a little bit of everything. Inside 5 minutes to go. And there's plenty of room out here. Nice run up across the 15 to the 17-yard line. And that is going to be a spark, perhaps the spark that the visiting crew's looking for. Kingston Welch on a solid run here.
Yeah, he's had a solid season so far. He got outside and coming over in the free safety to make that tackle was Cody again. But Welch, he's got a couple of games this year, 100-plus yards rushing. He's 5.7 per carry. He could use some of that and able to get to the outside. And good gain there. So, boy, needs something positive to happen here in the 5th possession here in Louisville.
Team 7-win squad from a year ago, went 500 in the conference, 3-3 in one of the great conferences. You know, I noticed that logo down there. See it on your screen right there. Looks a lot like the Premier Conference in college football, doesn't it? And this has been the Premier Conference in high school football at this level. Tom, interesting, it was pointed out to us by some of the folks surrounding the programs that no conference in the state of North Carolina has more total state championships than those that rest right here in Smoky Mountain Conference.
I mean, pretty amazing. Right now, Murphy's 3-0, Robbinsville 3-1, Swain County 2-1, Hayesville, Cherokee, Andrews, Rossman makeup. They had the reclassification, and this is a 1A, 2A now, 2A Cherokee, Swain County, Murphy, and Hayesville, 1A Andrews, Rossman, and Robbinsville. And they feel like Robbinsville has got a chance to win a state championship at the 1A level, and of course Murphy and maybe this Swain County team
certainly in the mix at the 2A ranks. Yep. Here's a deep shot near side, and that is just beyond the reach of the intended wide receiver, Javen Garcia. He can make some noise if they're able to get it in his grasp, but this is incomplete. There's going to be a flag down on the other side. Yeah, you think about SMC, Smoky Mountain Conference, and all the championships that have come out of it. And yes, Murphy's a big piece of that. And yes, Robbinsville's a big piece of that. 8 of them right here at Swain County. And Cherokee doing their part with the 2017 titles we talked about in recent memory. So this is among those premier conferences. Here's the roughing the passer penalty, Tom. Take another look on the backside of this. And this is going to walk off some yardage that is needed to create some room here.
Just a couple of extra steps there, and Trent Jones has played so well and provides them opportunity to keep it alive. And, when we visited, too, with both coaches, we appreciate their time, and with Swain County and Sherman Holt talking about that non-conference schedule that they played this year. And with Smoky Mountain, Pisgah, Franklin, and Mount Heritage, they've been tested. Those are 2 5A teams, 4 and 3A as well. Lost to Pisgah 28-27, and one of our Mountain Heritage 16-14 on that last second field goal as well. So went 2-2 non-conference. They're prepared for conference play.
Here's Cherokee on the march now. This is a Cherokee squad that started the contest by going all the way down to the 1 yard line and trying to come back, bookend the half with a nice drive. We said that it's been more often than not Swain County on the march across the field in this game on one lengthy drive after another. But this would be a spark, and not only that, Tom, it would be a bit of a momentum moment, because what you have is you've got a team that is trying to steal something away momentum-wise before Swain County gets the football back in the second half. And the guy in there trying to provide some of that momentum is Dawson Panther into the game at the quarterback position. Remember, we shared with you both Ian Saylor will share some time tonight. We were on the field earlier very impressed with the size of Dawson Panther as well as what the lefty can do at the quarterback position. And he's going to step back and talk things over ahead of this third down play with 2:34 to play in the half. But this becomes an important drive for Dawson Panther and company, because Swain County, with all the momentum and the football coming back their direction in the third.
Yeah, it is a very important drive for them. You want to try to get a little momentum back, have something positive happen, and change in quarterback there. We talked about Saylor and how effective that he was against Hayesville in that 37-28 win when he had to step in. Panther, we're told, was sick that week and didn't get a chance to practice too much or any at all. And then Saylor was so good. He'd been a quarterback the year before. Panther, 56 out of 108 for 961, so 65.5%, 132 yards passing per game. Now, Saylor's a guy that's going to give you an opportunity to rush the football, maybe a dual threat quarterback. Not so much for Panther. He's been sacked a couple of times, so the running numbers aren't up there, but a little bit different style of play. And you know what? To change the situation a little bit there. And got a good look at Sherman Hold over there on the Swain County side.
I'll go back and say it again. They complement one another pretty nicely. Nice to have a 1-2 punch at times, the quarterback position. Coming off the timeout, here is the 3rd down and 1. 1 of 5 on 3rd downs to this point for Cherokee. And you can make it 2 out of 6. Nicely done as they get a good push up front. The drive continues with the movement of the chains.
Yeah, good job by the offensive line. You mentioned a moment ago, Kamani Fully Squirrel at the center position. Felix Losa and Jaden Tramper are the guards. Johnny Long and Preston Loach tackles, and only the senior is Tramper up there. A couple of sophomores, Losa, and a junior Long, and same thing for the Squirrel. So young guys, and Coach telling us, they're getting better as the season's gone on, but a very young group up front.
Well, something, as we said, to build on as we close in on the half here. Kingston Welch again, very positive yards on the first down carry. You'll take that on first down all evening long. Clock dips inside 2 minutes remaining in the opening half. Cherokee on the move. Right above that Devils logo, and now slightly into Maroon Devils territory at the 47. Here's the Devils QB working in that secondary defensively on an Iron Man night in Western North Carolina. Boy, stacked up immediately this time. That's the push that Swain County had been looking for up front.
Hayden Smiley, man, he was 6'1", 265 junior, able to beat his block and nowhere to go. Nowhere to run and or hide.
Third down coming. That's the old song from Monday Night Football years ago, right? You've seen a couple of plays like that tonight on both sides where the initial push from the defensive line true. Inside a minute and a key third down here. Toss this way. Welch is going to be driven down at the 47-yard line. It'll be fourth down with 36 seconds to play.
So I got him going laterally, and look at the pursuit coming up. Bang. I mean, unloads him right there. That's Kobe Mashburn. Came up and knocked him down hard.
And it was Bentley Cody who kept him parallel there to make sure the tackle would be made. And timeout is being called for by Swain County with 32 seconds remaining.
Yeah, kick it away. Get the ball back, maybe.
And remember, they will have the football after winning the toss and deferring to the second half prior to the contest.
We're kind of closing in on the first half, but there are little things that turn out to be big things as well. And I think not getting into the end zone, it was a very impressive drive by Cherokee. They got the ball and they took advantage of a couple of penalties and looked like they might be able to score, got near the goal line and tried to get it across and knocked out. That changed the whole perspective and momentum from that standpoint as Swain County was able to go the distance and score. And then you get the interception of the second possession in short field, and all of a sudden you find yourself down 14-0.
You wonder how different a contest this would have been were that 7 points to have gone up on the scoreboard to cap that initial Cherokee drive. Been outgained by Swain County to the tune of 219 total yards to right around 50 of their own since that time, Tom. It was a game-changing scenario when the football ended up breaking loose right there at the goal line. Fourth down and the kicking unit on. Guy Johnson, who handles the punting responsibilities, will put a foot into this, and it'll be rolled dead at around the 16-yard line. That's somewhat fitting for it to be at the 16-yard line because the guy who wears jersey number 16,
man,
he has been the dominant force in this football game thus far.
Yeah, you can't make that up, right? Well, all you got to do is take a look at it. You had a fumble recovery, interception, punt for Cherokee, and you had touchdown for 26 and 28 for Cody. That's where we are on this extra point here as we get set for halftime.
Yeah, 4 touchdown runs, all belonging to 16 as he takes over, as I mentioned, on the 16-yard line with 22.7 to play in the opening half. And he, if you're wondering about it, he missed it when we gave it earlier, has rushed it 10 times for 102 yards. Ball on the ground, and he'll gather it back up before anybody else can consider hopping on it. Clock continues to roll with 10 seconds to play. What a first half.
Yeah, that's a nice play by Caden Cucumber as he was being blocked, stepped aside, then cut back in and got an arm on him, almost knocked it out of there.
Well, he leads his team into the locker room, does Drew Cody, with a 27-0 advantage on the strength of his 4 touchdown runs. Led him to 220 total yards in this first half of action. And it's time for us to hear from the head coach as we send it down to Nelson.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. Well, Coach, I got to tell you, y'all had a very productive first half. 27-0. Excellent job moving that ball down the field. And who could forget that interception by your defense as well? What are your thoughts on the first half, Coach?
Yeah, defense is playing real good, flying around, keeping them out of the end zone. That first drive, they drove down to the one. We made them fumble. We get it. We went and scored. We left a point off. Little bad snap right there and let a guy come through. But overall, proud of our kids' effort and the way they're playing. Just got to keep our foot on the gas pedal and play a good second half.
So what's the message to the boys in the locker room, Coach?
Don't let up. It ain't over. We got 2 more quarters to play. Every Friday night you want to play 4 quarters of good football, and that's what we plan on doing.
Yes, sir. Well, good luck in the second half, Coach. Yes, sir. Tom, Jason, back to you guys.
What a night his QB has put together. Drew Cody with 4 touchdown runs, 4 yards, 20 yards, 4 yards, and his most recent, of 28 yards to put his team up 27 at the intermission.
How much time do we have? Okay. We got all night.
It's a good time to roll, Shaq.
Good time to roll.
La baton roulette.
So we'll start with the first half assessment, and then we'll talk business, and then we'll talk about the recap of last week, and then we'll talk about the trick or what was it again?
Trick or truck.
Trick or truck. Okay. Joey, can you
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing.
Bojangles Friday Night Rivals Halftime, brought to you by Asheville Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals here on the Asheville Chevrolet Halftime Show. Well, folks, joining me are the proud and longtime sponsors from the eponymously named Asheville Chevrolet, Bobby and Joey Roussel. The Roussel men, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, Nelson.
Glad to be back, Nelson.
All right. Now, gentlemen, y'all both know no great halftime segment is complete without the famous Bobby and Joey first half assessment. So, Bobby, fire away.
Well, it's kind of been lopsided. Swain's been tearing it up all night. And we got to get Cherokee's going to have to get some defense in that second half.
Indeed. Joey, what you got, man?
Yeah, I'd say just about the same. Every time it seems like they start to get something going, they get stopped and get held up.
Now, gentlemen, let's talk business. What's currently on the lot right now out of Asheville Chevy?
We've got a bunch of Traxxas, Trailblazers, Equinoxes, Traverses, everything. I mean, we're loaded up right now.
Very nice. Now, where are you guys located in case somebody wanted to come by first thing tomorrow morning?
205 Smoky Park Highway.
Excellent. Now, Joey, you're wearing that pink shirt in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month on one hand, but on the other hand, y'all had a big-time event last week, and I would know I was there. What was that event all about? Give us a recap of it.
That event was for breast cancer, Hope Chest for Women in Asheville. We sponsored it, and we raised a record time amount of money for the event and had a great time.
That sounds great. Now, what was this event for? Like, who's it going to benefit out there?
It was going to benefit the Hope Chest for Women that supports the women that can't afford to have breast cancer or have the mammogram. We had the mammogram bus there. I cooked a jambalaya. We all had a great time.
And I got to tell you, that jambalaya, it was delicious, I got to say.
They're pretty good.
Now, I got to ask y'all as well, with the spooky season in full effect, my sources are telling me y'all going to have a big event out at Asheville Chevy on Halloween. What's that all about?
So we're going to have a trick or truck event. It's going to be spooky savings, if you will. We're going to fall into the savings. So that we're actually going to kick that off tomorrow. Also, if you mention this tomorrow, use promo code Bobby Boucher tomorrow, and for an additional $500 off any vehicle, any new vehicle on the lot.
Bobby Boucher, the water boy. Is that about right?
Capital B, capital B.
That's terrific, man. Well, once again, on behalf of My 40 and Friday Night Rivals, and of course, the entire region, thank y'all so much for y'all's longstanding and proud support of high school athletics. We couldn't do it without y'all.
Thank you, Nelson. We
Thank
couldn't
you,
do it. We love doing it.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment, folks.
Friday Night Rivals halftime, brought to you by Asheville Chevrolet. The best Thursday night lights and Friday night rivals highlights from across the country.
Is Max Rebish. The long snapper is Kenny Jett.
The best Thursday night lights and Friday night rivals highlights from across the country.
Is Max Rebish. The long snapper is Kenny Jett. The kick is no good. It's blocked, but then caught by the Red Knights, and they find the end zone. Touchdown, Toronto. Michael Henry got his field goal blocked, caught it, and said, look what I found. Touchdown. In one of the most bizarre football plays you will ever see.
48 yards per score. He's in motion again. They throw behind the line of scrimmage. Double pass. Looking deep. Prince Terrence has it. Give him his crown again.
Right from his own end zone. Powell's got to get rid of it. He does. Throws it long. Has a receiver. And it's a catch by Jackson. Quintrell Jackson. One man to beat. Oh, my goodness. The Golden Gophers score again. Another City of Bestman touchdown.
Here's Michael to throw. Over the middle. Ball tipped. And intercepted. That is Nicholas Alvarado with the pick.
This is a short kick. Picked up there by Scoop Smith. Reversing field, and he's dragged down. No, he's still on his feet. Scoop Smith reversing upfield. Look at Scoop. He tricked everyone. 70 yards.
Their season show, Wild Wild West, continuing as we speak. We'll throw it to the band, let you listen in for a moment or two as they continue entertaining the fans here in the land of the Devils. And once again, that is the Swain County High School Marching Band. Well, Maroon Devils liked what they saw in the first half of action time, withstood that initial drive from Cherokee, and ended up, after the fumble into the end zone, scoring 27 unanswered points. Got a feeling you're going to see a whole lot of number 16 in these highlights.
Well, they added in the end zone as a defensive back, and then he gives it to Glaspie out of the edge. Young man got hurt late in the first half.
Yeah, tough moment of the night is hopefully his return is going to be forthcoming because he was very shaken up on that play. 16 did the rest of the work.
Yeah, just give it to or keep it for Drew Cody. He'll take it in, and there's so many options there. And again, you see Glaspie, who was very good and knocked it out there by the opposing starting quarterback, Saylor. And then Cody takes it back inside for a touchdown. And he had a great first half.
Touchdowns of 4, 20, 4, and 28 yards. And he ended up with 100-plus yards in the opening half of action. Everything's starting. And really, when you think about it, he fell on the fumble. He scored the 3 touchdowns, the 27-0 advantage. He certainly led this team to it. And as you look at some of the overall numbers, Tom, from the first half of action, you see how much of the work was his of 220 total yards per Swain.
Yeah, Cherokee got most of that rushing on the first possession of the ball game, and then Swain pretty much did what they wanted to do on the ground, threw one pass, completed it, and it's a pretty dominant performance. You see the 2 turnovers, took advantage of both those interceptions, short field, and then the other one as well from the 38-yard line as well. So nicely done.
This will tell you everything you need to know. The possessions for Cherokee, the fumble on the goal line, an interception, then 3 punts. For Swain County, touchdown, 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 into the half. Their possessions in this football game, and they will have the football to begin the third quarter. Swain County seeing things go their way here at Dietz Field in the first half of action. We're moments away from the second half in a 27-0 contest on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. Asheville Chevy Show wraps up on the other side of the break. Halftime between Cherokee and Swain, and it's 27-0, the advantage the Maroon Devils have built. Tom, we said it, so much of it being done with the consistency of that first half. That really, as you take a look at what this Swain County team has done thus far, consistent on their possessions.
Yeah, philosophically, what do you want to do? You want to run the football, 214.8 coming in. 74% of the plays are on the ground, 6.5 yards per carry. And they were as good or better, 22 carries, 211 yards, 9.8, 4 TDs, all true Cody in the first half. So, yeah, like you documented, 4 possession touchdowns, time ran out. Then you had a fumble in the end zone, the interception, and 3 punts. And sometimes the stats don't tell the story, but I think in this case it does.
Yeah, what can you say about Sherman Holt, what he's done with his team, and the way they've bounced back here in 2025?
Yeah, a year ago, won 1 game. We talked about that. Cody got that broken collarbone in game 2 and talked about 5 players had season-ending injuries, and all of them played offense and defense, so you're essentially losing 10 starters, and most teams can't do anything after that. And they had a tough year. That's only the first time, 3 times since 2004 they've won less than 4 games.
And there is Coach Holt. He's a defensive guy by trade, as offensive coordinator Chris Brookshire, who has handled a lot of the responsibilities. Remember, he was a head coach in his own right, 30-plus years, a guy on the staff that has been quite a luxury for this group. But, you know, what they have done and well-traveled on so many fronts.
Oh, yeah.
Just impressive with the way 2025 has gone. And again, everything out in front of this team, as he said in the pregame interview, controlling their own destiny moving forward, and such a difference maker in the way they have turned it around this year.
You and I do a lot of games in Western North Carolina, and the 1A, 2A teams seem to make longer runs in postseason play.
Well, and it speaks to that conversation we were having earlier, that nobody anywhere across the state with more championships than this particular conference. And now it's time to hear from the head coach for Cherokee, who's found his way to Nelson.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. Well, Coach, what was the message to the boys in the locker room on one hand, but on the other hand, what can we expect from you and your team in the second half of the game?
Well, the message is we've got to block, we've got to tackle, we've got to get more aggressive, we've got to put our shoulder in people and get them to the turf. We've got to stop trying this arm tackle nonsense. He's running right through us, and we've seen the results of that one. The message is we got to just buckle down and start going after it. And there are no 28-point plays. We got to score one at a time and go get them. So we just got to be patient and stick with what we're doing.
All right. Well, good luck in the second half, Coach. Tom, Jason, back to you guys.
It's going to be something to see once he has his full system in place there. We talked about it, a guy who has an option background, but didn't have the time. He said, it takes a full spring to instill a system like that, as we well know, Tom. And over time, he will be able to put his system in place and instill that. But the one thing you can hear that he's already instilling in this Braves football program is that toughness and that desire to stick to fundamentals and do things the right way. And he's challenged his team to do that here in the second half. Let's go back and revisit the keys to this football game. How do you see this thing transpiring so far based on your pregame keys?
Cherokee wanted to try to stop the run, and it didn't happen.
That's been the tough part.
Yeah, 211, 9.8, 4 TDs. You want on offense would be a little unpredictable, throw it and run it a little bit, and they just haven't gotten much going at all in that category. Swain wanted to pressure the quarterback, talking about Jonathan Saylor coming off that outstanding performance week before, can throw and run it a little bit. We saw that on the first possession. Austin Panther got in there a little bit later, and then really hadn't come into play too much of special teams tonight, but they also think that down the line can be one of the big keys to the success.
It's going to have to start defensively for Cherokee as they kick it away, and we get this third quarter underway. Remember, the toss was won by homestanding Swain County, and they opted to defer. So it will need to be a defensive contribution for the Braves if they're going to begin to turn the tide to some degree here. 27-0 on the 4 touchdown runs for Drew Cody. And again, up over 100 yards already, averaging 10+ per carry on the night, not to mention what he did defensively to set the tone for the contest.
Yeah, came in 57, 282, 6 touchdowns and 4.9. And he's a little bit better than that here in the first half. He had a great first half, and, it just wasn't him. Those big guys up front and those out on the perimeter did a nice job block for him.
He's been the headliner. Going to toss this this direction, but before it can go toward that Swain County sideline, a flag is down far side. Introduce you to our officials in the first half. Worth saying hello again to those who may be watching that have a relationship with our referee, Todd Doolittle, Dale Buchanan, our umpire, Josh Harris, our linesman, Daniel McNabb, our line judge, Taylor Brooks, our back judge. And, of course, the clock being run by Tanner Lawson, our 25-second clock by Brian Schuler. And then also helping out, doing real nice work here in the press box is Stephen Cooper, who's also done a nice job taking care of us here since we worked our way to Swain County. Thanks to all those. Didn't mention, but you've heard the smooth tones, public address-wise, coming across the PA along the way, and everybody in here doing a really nice job as they've taken care of us at Swain County. Tom, just been a lot of fun here so far.
Yeah, it has, and you and I are in the Gary Ayers press box. And Gary's a good friend of both of ours. Outstanding play-by-play broadcaster for Swain County, Hall of Famer of Western Carolina, 39 years. Just one of the great men in this business.
Yeah, what a pleasure to be in the press box here, and everybody in the press box taking good care of us, as we said. And I also want to mention, Toby Burrell, who's taking care of things from a PA standpoint. And then you may hear faintly in the distance, Cody White, former coach Rod White, who's on the air from a radio standpoint. So everybody here in the press box doing a nice job to make this the environment it should be. But the press box with Gary Ayers' name on it,
absolutely,
is the story for so many of us as well, because what he means to this part of the state of North Carolina. And, he's seen a lot of these football games, a lot of collisions, just like the one you watched right there, and has called a lot of them over the years. And Gary Ayers, his connection at Western Carolina and what it means here, is one of the great gentlemen in the history of broadcasting. And it's a pleasure for you and I, and an honor to be in a press box tonight that bears his name.
Yeah, I saw him last Saturday. He called that 52-7 win Western Carolina over Furman. He's at the Citadel tomorrow.
Been doing it a long time at a high level. This one tossed far side and incomplete. Give you a quick story real quick.
Yeah.
One of the first games I ever broadcast television at Western Carolina. And alongside Gary Ayers, I was able during one of the breaks to talk to him for a moment. I shared with him, I said, first game my dad ever took me to when I was a child was South Carolina, and they were playing your Catamounts.
Yeah.
And, he immediately goes, well, what year was it? And I told him what year it was, and he said,
I know.
You know what he said? I was calling that game.
You were a kid, right?
You can bet if it's happened for Western Carolina in recent decades, he has been there on the mic. And you said it. Even better person than he is a broadcaster, and so our pleasure tonight to be in the Gary Ayers press box. We took a photo, sent it his direction before the night was past us. All right, punt is fairly short here. Locking back in on where we are in this one. Braves do exactly what they need to, Tom. They get the stop defensively, and after this punt, Cherokee going to have pretty good field position to try and begin to turn it a little bit. And you heard their head coach say a moment ago, it's got to happen one possession at a time.
And you know what? One of the keys there was the fact that they made some tackles near the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, didn't have third or second and short yardage, and great way to begin things for Cherokee. They've started the folks just joined us, had that great drive, 5:22, fumbled at the 1 yard line, recovered the end zone, went down, scored, and that changed the dynamics of the game.
Here come the Braves. Going to stay with Saylor this time around at the quarterback position. And this toss near side hit immediately. That's going to be for a loss. So they'll be behind the sticks on second down. Stepping up big right there, the defense for Swain County.
Yeah, a little option. That's the first time we've actually seen Saylor run the option that time, and just able to go short side of the field, able to string it out, not much going there. They eventually philosophically want to do that a little bit more.
There's Drew Skaggs. He is all Western North Carolina filling up your screen. He was the guy on the scene making the stop for Swain County. It'll be second down and 11. Boy, this is a gotta-have-it moment for Cherokee. Big-time drive here as they can try to get this thing back to a 3-score contest, and a lot of football left in this one. Knowing how important it is, timeout is being taken. We will take it as well. Big possession for the Braves when you return to Swain County.
It's okay to need support. No matter your crisis, you have options. Learn more at ncdhhs.gov/crisis services.
The Braves representing Cherokee Nation tonight as they take on their rivals from Swain County. Maroon Devils have all the points right now. Braves in a position to change that as they have the football on the Swain side of the 50. And here's Saylor going to connect with Garcia. He's tried a couple of times tonight to work it to Javen Garcia. We mentioned what a playmaker he can be. Here, the connection is made, and the drive continues.
Yeah, came in, 30 catches, 535, 4 TD, 17 per catch. You see it again there. You see Drew Cody make another tackle. Coming off Hayesville, where he had 156 and a touch in that game.
This is a pocket change laundry first down. Laundry is not just a chore and experience in excellence. Take immense pride in being the premier laundry service in the region. That is Pocket Change Laundry. Sponsors of our first downs. How about on the ground? Still fighting for every yard down inside the 10-yard line, and Kingston Welch with an impressive run. This team beginning to complement one another and come together as a unit. It's a First Bank red zone opportunity earned by Kingston Welch.
Hey, big guys up front created a hole. He saw the space, accelerated through there, and Kobe Mashburn eventually will make the tackle, but a very positive game.
That was one of his better runs of the night. He's averaging right at 3 yards per carry. 15 touches, 44 yards now for Kingston Welch. Go his direction again, this time stacked up. And Drew Skaggs, among others, right in there immediately to try to put the stop on this. He was not alone. Had some help from Cody, Bentley Cody, that is, among others.
Yeah, just came off that backside, the right defensive end, and sliding down, made a tackle near the line of scrimmage.
It was Bentley Cody who actually got there first and wrapped him up. Nice job. Cohen Smith, who wears jersey number 52, joining 56 Cody. Was enough to earn that 1st and goal scenario. Pocket change laundry, 1st down, goal to go. And Saylor is chased out to the perimeter. Guess who's there to make the stop?
And look where he came from. I mean, Cody makes the call or makes the play and probably makes the defensive call as well, but he saw what was transpiring. He's the free safety, and he comes up, makes a nice individual one-on-one tackle.
One quarterback spying another in that moment and does a nice job to come away with the open field trip up of the QB, John Saylor. Here's a 2nd down goal play. Going to be necessary from the 8. Saylor goes to that sideline, gets the play call. Here he comes back, and this is a huge drive. Remember, Braves had it on the other end of the field in the 1st quarter, marched all the way down to the 1. So they've shown the ability to move up and down the football field at times, but needing to cap it with points. And there's a toss. It is caught, far side. That's a touchdown. Nicely done. Little toss and catch. 2nd connection on the drive with Javen Garcia, and the Braves are on the board with the Foundation Solutions TD.
That is outstanding. They kind of got behind the change there a little bit after an outstanding play, and rolling right, gave himself and got it right between 2 defenders there. Got a touchdown. Great way to start.
Showing their character and makeup here, coming out of the locker room, getting not only the defensive stop, but then an effective drive that results in a touchdown, and the extra point going to be punched on through by Jonathan Escobar. And with Jonathan Escobar's kick, it is 7 on the board for the visiting Cherokee Braves. Now a 27-7 contest, something to cheer about on the far side as the visitors take it home. Stay with News 13 tonight at 11 p.m. for complete coverage of Western North Carolina high school football with Chris and Marvin. Friday Football Frenzy. It's brought to you by Foundation Solutions of Western North Carolina. Well, the Cherokee Braves, 6 plays, 34 yards later, a touchdown toss as it was nicely handled. Saylor to Javen Garcia, and that's the start they were looking for. It was after that 7-yard punt time. You had the defensive stop, the special teams play that trended the direction of the visitors, and they got something, as we said, to cheer about on the far side. Here comes a return up near the 35-yard line. As we go back and give one more look at the touchdown connection between Saylor and Garcia.
Did everything you needed to do. Got a defensive stop, short punt, good field position, and then able to fire it in there for the touchdown. Great start, 2nd half, Cherokee.
Well, got plenty of time left in the football game. It's how often can they repeat the feat of stopping this Swain County squad defensively to give that offense a chance to build on that initial scoring drive of the night. Remember, most of the carries belonging to Caden Sawyer in this game. If you missed it when we addressed it at the half, Zeke Glaspie, who ran for 97 yards on 8 carries before he left the game injured, has not yet returned. So it has been the work of Sawyer out of the backfield attempting to complement Drew Cody on the ground.
10.5 speed. I mean, again, that's 100 meters. You're talking about having to change direction and so forth. But we saw the versatility of Glaspie run it inside and then his speed outside of the first half. So a big loss for them on the offensive side.
And Sawyer, who you saw there, has carried it now 5 times for 11 yards. You can make it 6, and he gets just a few more, but a third down coming here, Tom, and suddenly you see a lot of life and a whole lot of energy on that Cherokee side. And that was Millie Garcia in there. You hope he's not banged up in any way, kind of shaken off a little bit, perhaps a hand injury or something from that collision. But boy, he gets in there, a host of white jerseys with him, and just like that, third down necessary if Swain is to extend this possession. They are 2 of 3 on third down tonight. Haven't had a lot of third down situations, this Devils squad. Up top, and boy, that is perfectly executed just beyond the marker, and the catch made by Stillwell, and that toss to Corey Stillwell will move the chains with a pocket change laundry first down.
Man, he had Kingston Welch in front, and on the backside you had Javen Garcia, and he just dropped it in there. Nicely done on a big third down conversion.
But just when it looked like the Braves were going to get off the field, perhaps be in a position to make it a 2-score contest, another big-time play from Drew Cody, who has completed 2 of the 3 attempted passes tonight. Just 3 attempted, 2 of them completed. None more important than that one right there through the air, Tom.
He's 70% on the year. They don't throw it much, 26% of the time, but what he does, he's been successful.
Goes back to the ground here, and he is met. That was a stay at home and do your job moment for that up front group for Cherokee.
A good job to contain him. We saw so much success in the first half and gave you those numbers, over 100 yards, 9.9, I think, yards per carry in the first half. And they've been really good on first down, second down here early this year, second half, but really have changed things from a defensive standpoint to be able to slow them down a bit after, 2:11 of the first half?
Yeah, he's at 13 for 105 now, and that average coming down a bit and right at 8 yards per carry. Just above that Devils logo. He's going to send one a little too tall for Stillwell this go-round. It is incomplete. Here's another third down, another chance for the Braves with just under 5 to play in the third quarter. There's a lot of time left in this football game, and with this connection not quite made, it's going to require another third down conversion.
Yeah, he becomes a little bit vulnerable out there. You saw a Sailor coming hard, a little bit overthrown in that regard. Yeah, big play here. We saw him convert a 3rd and 7 a moment ago.
3 of 4 now on third down. Only time they didn't convert on it when they punted just a moment ago here in the second half. Under pressure, pointing out the gentleman he'll need blocked, and he gets the block he needs, or actually makes the move himself to secure the first down. Another third down conversion for Swain County, and another that's secured by Drew Cody.
Yeah, just did that individually and just kind of set it up, got him out there. Swaney almost was able to get him, but he was unable to bring him down there in the open field.
Yeah, asking for a little bit of a help and a little bit of a block, but it wasn't needed for the pocket change laundry first down. He simply reversed it himself and ended up inside the 40 at the 39. 2 chances for the Braves to bring this drive to a halt on third down, both converted by the Devils. Man, that is right into Kamani Folina Squirrel that time. And second down's coming.
It's been kind of a tough night defensively for Cherokee, but Folina Squirrel's had a good night up front here, and a good job here, particularly in the second half, to get them behind the change a little bit. In the first half, pretty much did what they wanted to do and got big gains on early carries in the game.
I'm with you. Kamani Folina Squirrel on both the offensive line and defensive line has been a difference maker tonight for Cherokee. The question, can they come away with the ability to turn aside this drive? Because it gets a lot tougher if they go back up the 4 scores. This is incomplete, going a little deep. And Stillwell, because you're playing, if you're the Braves, Tom, you're playing a clock game as well right now. You need enough possessions in this football game to overcome the deficit. And Swain County, another third down coming. to try and make the hill they'll have to climb a little tougher.
Oh, it's 3rd and 9 now, though, Jason. It's 3rd and 7, the last two. But what they've been able to do is in the first half, through one pass completed for 9 yards, didn't have to throw. And been in a situation where in the second half, they have thrown the football.
4 or 5 in this scenario, but this 3rd down play will be turned aside. Boy, nice job. We've talked about the open field tackles and the opportunities that have been there to come up and make huge plays when they've needed it. And there's Kai Johnson doing just that for the Braves.
Man, he fought off that block, cut back inside the junior, outside the linebacker. Nice play.
Inside the 40, though, so on 4th down, Maroon Devils, knowing they need the 29 for another pocket change laundry 1st down. Going to take a 4th down stop to get the Braves off the field this time, and they're pointing across as if the movement was on the offensive line, and our referee will indicate it is. So back them up a little further now. Swain County, again, needing the 29 to move it. You'll see the movement on the left side of the line there.
Yep. So we'll get the football back.
Well, and that's going to change the strategy. Instead of now going for it on 4th down and 8 or so, they're going to punt it on 4th down from behind the sticks. Return man has it at the 10. It's a guy who had the touchdown a moment ago, Garcia, and he'll move it up to the 29-yard line. And a flag coming in at the end of this that may tack on a little more.
Well, that's a good job by Garcia. He catches it about the 10-yard line, and you thought, well, maybe he might get pinned back there, but then he had some room on the outside, and we'll see what the...
Looks like you would think of where it came in and when it came in. This may be a late hit to tack on a little more as he's out of bounds there. Connected with ever so slightly. We'll see.
I think that would, I mean, he may get the call, but I think he just kind of slipped a little bit there.
Flag is down right where he rushed out of bounds, and I'm with you, Tom. That was a huge job of receiving that punt, making something out of it by Garcia, because that had a potential to be very poor field position. And they're talking it over with the Swain County staff here. And explaining what the call is going to be. They are marching it a little closer to midfield. So you got a holding on the kicking team as well as a personal foul at the very end of this. Here's one more glance at it for you.
It takes it up the sideline, and it relatively inadvertent, kind of slipping a little bit there, but he was out of bounds and his momentum took him right into it. We'll get really good camera work.
See as well out of bounds here.
He was out of bounds for a couple strides.
That's a 7th penalty for 60 yards against Swain County. Puts Cherokee on the Swain side of the 50. And here is Welch going to work again. He's down to the 35-yard line. Kingston Welch on the run. And here all of a sudden, a turning of the tide and a change in momentum that you can sense. And they're loving it on the far side.
I tell you what, though, he was bottled up. He just bounced it outside. But boy, those 2 penalties, that ball was received at the 10, and you end up with incredible field position here and an opportunity as you flip the momentum here in the 3rd quarter.
And so much of that done by Garcia just deciding to do something with that by grabbing it and taking off with it where it could have, as you said, pinned them against their own goal line. Here are the Braves on the move. Boy, what a different team this has been in this 3rd quarter. They have answered the bell of their coaching staff. But stepping up and making the stop, one of the leaders on this defense, Corey Stillwell. We've called Stillwell's name a couple of times receiving the football, and he reminds you he, too, is going both ways tonight.
I tell you, it looked like he might have a chance there to get outside, but he's run down. And I think it's worth mentioning and revisiting if folks just joined us. You've got 7 players going both ways for Swain County. You got 5 players going both ways for Cherokee. All 4 down defensive lineman for Swain County start on offensive.
And remember, Cherokee making it a point to not have all their linemen going both ways. Will that show up, Tom, as we get a little deeper into this thing, if they can inch a little closer on the scoreboard? Over the top, well designed, but it is in and out of the hands of Ledford, the intended target. Boy, that was a beautiful play call, just could not quite make the connection.
Yeah, you love the call, and he just happened to drop it. He was there, wide open. Just couldn't reel it in.
Going to bring up a 4th down and 1. And there's so many things are going to have to go right across the now quarter plus. You got the 4th quarter and about 1:13 left in this 3rd quarter. So many things going to have to go right if they're going to come storming back. This is one of them, this 4th down and 1. And Saylor's going to keep it himself. Can he find enough room to get to the marker? It's going to be close. The spot going to be critical. Looks as if at first glance he has it. And he does. Move the chains. How about that? A pocket change laundry 1st down to keep hope alive for John Saylor and company.
Man, you thought at first he was running laterally there, then he cut it back inside off Welch's block. And, you know, he's big enough and strong enough. We talked about his ability to throw the football against Hayesville, 254. But what you forget, or maybe you don't know, he had 52 yards rushing and a couple touchdowns as well.
Just enough room and quite a decision for John Saylor. And it's a fresh set. Perhaps our final pocket change laundry 1st down of the night, as they're the sponsor of our 1st downs in this 3rd quarter. Just over a half minute remaining. Flags come in as Welch runs the other direction. Something to sort out with just around a half minute remaining in the 3rd.
So may come back. They'll talk about that.
Told you 7 penalties for 60 yards against Swain a moment ago. This one going to be the 4th penalty against the Braves. They had been penalized for 20 yards up to this point. That holding call going to make it a little tougher. Again, needing the 22-yard line for a 1st down. And this going to back the line of scrimmage up to the 43.
Yeah, that'll change it a little bit there. But still got a 1st down there.
I'll change it a whole lot. Look at the yardage needed now, Tom. 30 and ticking downward to go in the 3rd. To the air. No real surprise. Flags do come in as there's plenty of time there for Saylor. He goes toward the end zone, and that is incomplete as it was well covered. But you saw how much time he had and the flag coming in. Let's see what they sort out at the 43, back at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you got Garcia, and again, you've got Stillwell and Drew Cody back there as well. But just launch it long, see if he can go up and get it. Leading receiver, and good job there by Cody to have good position in front of him. Here we go again with another penalty.
Yeah, probably a little easier to take that he didn't catch that football for Cherokee, right? They're going to back him up on the holding penalty. And boy, this has just become 1st down and forever all of a sudden. They'll need to go from their own 47 to the Swain County 22 in order to move the chains.
His coach was talking with Nelson at halftime and said, we don't have any 28-point plays, and you probably don't have a lot of 1st and 30 plays.
Well, you got four to get there. At least you're not facing 3rd down.
At 27-7, you're probably in 4th down territory because you're near midfield, right?
Yep, you've got 4 to get there. Let's see how much a chunk they can bite off here on 1st down. There's a toss, and arriving just in the nick of time, it would seem, though flags do come in here. And that may be an interference call. The officials may be of the belief that Kobe Mashburn arrived just a bit early. You see the response of the home fans. They had a different perspective on it. While all this is transpiring, it looks like we got a lineman down and back around the 36-yard line, and there was also a penalty there. So it looks to be maybe, Tom, just a cramp they're working through there. But the pass interference call,
major league,
is huge when you consider the 1st down and forever scenario we were discussing.
Hey, had great time to throw it, stayed in the pocket, surveyed the field, had a man over the middle, and official right there had a look at it, didn't throw it, but the backside did. And that, I mean, it was 1st and 30, and that's going to give you an automatic 1st down.
Well, that was one of those bang plays.
Yeah.
Right there was Mashburn just as it looked like there may be a chance to catch the football for Caden Cucumber.
The way they're working, it looks like it. I mean, again,
tough to speculate, but
Yeah.
I'm with you. And you hope it's nothing serious here, and it appears to be more in that vein.
we talked about Gillespie going out, and it changed the offense to a certain extent for Swain County with his ability running the football and the success that he had in the first half, and have not been able to sustain anything here in the second half. And, you know, before getting 7-8 yards, changed everything when you're 3rd and 8, and had to throw the football a little bit in the second half after throwing just one of the first half completed for 9 yards.
Well, you talk about changing things. Let's get our mindset toward what just changed right here. You took a drive that looked like it was moving toward making this a 2-score contest and put Cherokee way behind the sticks with several penalties that occurred back-to-back there. Then it flips the other way on a pass interference call that's going to make this very interesting in the closing seconds of the third quarter when you return. But in experience, in excellence, we take immense pride in being the premier laundry service in the region. We're redefining the standard of laundry care, combining cutting-edge technology, unparalleled customer service, and a commitment to quality that has earned us a reputation as being the best in Western North Carolina. Pocket Change Laundry. Check us out today. Preston Roach was the injured player. He left under his own power, which is a good sign. Had a little bit of a limp, but again, we were speculating perhaps had a little bit of a cramp had to be worked through there. Saylor all good with the wheels. He's going to work his way inside the 25-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot him at the 26. Say that's where he was initially down. But Tom, all of a sudden what was first, and as we often say, a country mile, first and forever, has suddenly become second and just a few yards needed to move the chains. Cherokee Braves tightening things up a bit as we move on toward the fourth and final period in this rivalry contest. Well, with the sky that was painted with that sunset earlier and all the activities that have happened here tonight, plenty to smile about. And we bring you back with the Caroline Albee Orthodontics Smile Cam. Well, one of the reasons Cherokee is smiling, Braves had a first down and 30 that has now become just a third and a handful. And Tom, this is an important moment because the clock is not in their favor. The score is not in their favor. But though they've been outgained 244 to 153 in the contest, Braves have the only points of the second half, and they're looking for more. This, however, is a huge third down.
It is. I mean, obviously, you're in 4-down territory. We've seen that forward ball play pretty effectively tonight for Swain County.
I thought I saw you walking with that guy a little bit earlier.
Yeah, look a little bit like him, man.
Making your way down around the fine facilities here at Swain County. Here's third down and about 3. And reversing fields and making it happen. How about the gutsy effort on this play from John Saylor to keep hope and the drive alive?
Well, you just called it MIA's making it happen because there wasn't anything happening going the other way. And he slams on the brakes and whoops, better go the other way and just get what you can. And you know what? He changed where the ball was in his left and put it on the right in case he gets hit and out of bounds. If he knocks away, if it's on the inner part and he gets hit, it might bounce away.
Creates the First Bank red zone opportunity as he crosses over that SMC logo, reminding you the competitive nature of this conference, which we're locked into tonight between these two rivals, Cherokee and Swain. Got to fake the give and keep it himself up in there down to the 16-yard line. You know, time just as precious as anything else right now. It's important for the Braves that they strike quickly here.
Yep, they've got to be able to get it into the end zone. And folks just joined us. They had the first possession of the game at the 20-yard line. 5 minutes, 22 seconds later, they fumbled from the 1-yard line.
On the 1, into the end zone.
So didn't get that, and then that led to what eventually would be 4 consecutive touchdowns and trailed at 27-0 before they got the touchdown here in the third quarter play to get it within where we are right now. But if they could get it in here, you know, it's been a really different second half. You've got to really give it to Cherokee because they were down big 27-0.
The way they have responded, yes, I'm with you. The way they have responded here in the second half speaks to the character of this football team. And going up top toward the end zone, battling to try to grab it. Flags do come in, and that was a valiant effort by Chula Hallencrane, and there's flags everywhere, though the ball wasn't reeled in until they worked their way beyond the end zone. There's a consequential penalty flag to sort out.
Boy, those two guys were battling for it there in the end zone about who was maybe going to come down with it.
They're going to say touchdown. Wait a minute. Interference.
Really? Let's look at this.
On the defense. He lifted his hands and said touchdown. I thought they were still struggling for it as well. Maybe he reeled that in before he went out the back of the end zone, Tom. Well, the ball's on the ground at the end there, though. So, wow. Well, the Swain folks beside themselves that it was called a touchdown. But the flags were for pass interference.
Yeah.
But the crew deeming that he had control of that football as he went into the back portion of the end zone. Well, I'll say this, valiant effort for Chula Hallencrane to bring that in. And, you know, it's one of those that, depending upon how you're looking at it, Tom, he did a nice job to eventually secure the catch there. The officials award him the TD. They're going to talk about the ball being on the ground at the end of this here at Swain County. But one thing you learn, the Braves still battling, not going anywhere. And they've inched ever closer here in the fourth quarter. Bojangles is a proud sponsor of WLOS Friday Night Football. It's not just football season, it's tailgate season. Head to Bojangles and order the tailgate box today. It's not a tailgate without Bojangles. It's bow time. Well, just like that, a 2-score game. Both touchdowns in this half belonging to the Cherokee Braves. And Tom, we were talking about this a moment ago, but it's worth underscoring. The way they came out of the locker room down 27-0 with 14 unanswered points here speaks a lot about the nature of this football team and the nature of this rivalry, which now is hanging in the balance. 9:45 is a long way to go.
Yeah, and Coach Cagle challenged his team at halftime. They've got to make some more, got to wrap up, can't arm tackle. We need to play physically, and they've gotten themselves back into the game.
After scoring on every possession, save for the final one when the clock ran out in the first half, in that half of action, Swain County is looking for its first productive drive here in the second half of action. And they'll take over just inside their own 20-yard line. And the last thing they want to see is another player down. And Tom, that looks to be the running back, Caden Sawyer, who came in to spell the already injured Zeke Glaspie. So he's a little slow coming off this time, and it's becoming a bit of an attrition scenario all of a sudden for the Devils.
Well, if he can't go, we've got Colton Schuler listed next, and played a couple of games in the inside linebacker, so we'll see how that does play out.
9 plays, 45 yards, 5 minutes off the game clock in that drive that wrapped around the end of the third quarter and the start of the fourth for the Braves to pull within a couple of scores here. Devils back to work. Here's the guy who was the headliner in the first half, Drew Cody. If you were not with us in the first half of action, you're just coming back from your game, perhaps just finding us tonight. He ran for 4 touchdowns after falling on that fumble in the end zone on the opening drive where Cherokee fumbled it at the one into the end zone. You think about how much of a different game this would be had that not been the opening stanza, perhaps. After falling on that football, Cody ran off touchdown runs, reeling off a 4-yard, a 20-yard, a 4-yard, and a 28-yard run to put his team up 27-0 at the half. But they're calling on he and the surrounding cast now. Speaking of that surrounding cast, Colton Schuler is on the loose, and he's all the way down to the 30-yard line. The ball comes out but rolls out of bounds, and it will be the gain of the night on the ground for Colton Schuler. And one of the key moments of the contest for the home team.
Yeah, watch this. First carry of the night. We just talked a moment ago with Glaspie had been out. Sawyer went down a moment ago. And what does he do? He gets his hands on the ball and look out. There he goes. And eventually will be run down from behind.
Boy, that ball came out. You could see it at the end of that. But fortunate for the Devils, it rolled out of bounds on the far side, and it's theirs on the 29-yard line. 50 yards on the run. Something right about a Schuler in those colors doing something, right?
How about that?
You know, you think of this Swain County team and its great history, and Heath Schuler, the NFL alum, the young man who went to Tennessee so long ago, eventually quarterbacked the Washington Redskins and made his mark on this part of the state athletically. This time around, it's another Schuler, Colton Schuler, who has the big run in these moments. And it's going to be second down after just a few here. Cody finding enough to add to his totals, which are already well up over 100 yards tonight.
Yeah, that was a design run all the way. You saw Caden Sawyer back in there.
17 carries, 122 yards. 17 for 122. Andrew Cody's night. And Drew Cody trying to lead his team to a touchdown that would give the home fans a little bit of a sigh of relief and perhaps a little more breathing room here. And he's getting a little closer to it. This time working with Sawyer. Good to see him still out there. And here's Caden Sawyer.
You get back into the game and take it up inside. You're going to see the ball on the ground as the clock continues to roll. And we're getting halfway, a little bit more than halfway through the quarter.
3rd down and 1.
And that's
how
one of the
important
differences
this play has become. They've been effective on 3rd down tonight. They'll go to number 3. He's going to turn 3rd down into a touchdown. Caden Sawyer does stay in the contest, and he finds the end zone. First to do so, not named Drew Cody tonight. wearing those familiar maroon colors. And the Foundation Solutions touchdown run from Caden Sawyer gives them something to cheer about on the home side in the second half.
Just burst of speed there, took it into the middle of the field and outran everybody. But you go back to Colton Schuler and the one carry he had for 50 yards.
Yep. Hey, Tom, how about the third down conversion again, too? That's been one of the key stories of the night. This Swain County team, when they've needed it, they've been able to convert on some key third downs. That third down turned into a touchdown.
Well, it's 3rd and 1. And I mean, jammed at the line of scrimmage, trying to make sure you can make the tackle or try to make the tackle. Watch it again here. Once he gets past everybody, he's long gone for the touchdown. We saw 3rd and 7 conversion, 3rd and 9 penalty, and then they had to punt. So
going to be tipping his cap to Trent Jones, Noah Brown, Aiden Smiley, Hunter Williamson, Drew Skaggs, all those starters up front. They've been spelled at times by Henry Arch, Cohen Smith. Think about the other guys in the lineman stable, Bentley Cody and Houston Hornbuckle. Those guys up front for his team making a major difference tonight, certainly on that 3rd and 1 play. They don't get all the accolades in the headlines, but their work in those trenches still what ends up winning and losing the football game on so many cases. They took a step toward getting it done this time around. With the missed extra point on the final touchdown of the first half, a 2-point try is due here. And Cody tosses it far side. That's incomplete. So it will stay at 33-14, but a response type drive for Swain County has given the Devils a little more breathing room with 7:32 to play. Touchdown run for Sawyer. 5th rushing touchdown of the night for the home team. After all this beautiful. Well, they are enjoying that most recent drive here at Swain County, putting the home team up 33-14. What a pleasure it has been to be here. Let's check in with Nelson for tonight's check presentation.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. I'm standing here with some of the beautiful cheerleaders here at Swain County High School. Ladies, on behalf of My 40 and Friday Night Rivals, thank y'all so much for inviting us here tonight. At this time, we proudly present y'all a check for $500.
Well, a big thank you to everyone who made it possible for us to be here. Athletic Director Scotty McMahon, the principal Tyler Schuler, certainly head coach Sherman Holt, whose team just responded very nicely there, Tom. We mentioned that assistant AD Jeff Marr earlier, the Maroon Devil Network, Joe Holt there. So many who have made this possible tonight, all those working hard in the press box and all around this facility and beyond. Been a pleasure to be here and enjoy this beautiful portion of Western North Carolina. Mentioned Coach Sherman Holt's team responding there. You know, a couple of things that from the perspective of those wearing maroon didn't go their way. And they channeled that bit of anger and frustration perhaps into a touchdown scoring drive that has reestablished the deficit. Now time is a factor after this return, just 7:21 with which to work for Cherokee. As you see, every bit of effort you could want there from Chilla Hallencrane. Remember, he had the catch on the touchdown earlier. Been a big piece of what they've done tonight.
I'd say that's an outstanding return because it looked like he was going to be bottled up back there. It gave him pretty good field position. But a good job, nice response by Swain County. That's what good teams do. And they were, back a little bit of their own territory. And maybe if you get a stop, the momentum is on the side of Cherokee. But they put together a nice quick drive for a touchdown.
Able to convert on another key third down tonight. That's one of the areas we've watched. That may have been on the turf. It looks as if it was, and going to be incomplete. 7:16 to play. Tried to set up a screen near side. That one hit the deck.
He had some room there if he makes that catch. We've seen a couple of them. That was low, but, you probably feel like you could catch it, but bounded away.
4 third down conversions and 1 fourth down conversion tonight for Swain County. That, in addition to the tremendous numbers that Cody has put together, his teammates, the difference maker. How about his counterpart, John Saylor? Another tremendous run, and he's still up into Devils territory and somehow finding a way to keep rushing it forward all the way to the red zone. Just a gutsy effort from John Saylor and a Cherokee Braves team needing to strike fairly quickly here in business.
It wasn't there. Step up. Everybody's running. They're trying to defend. Stillwell has a chance there, but he didn't make the tackle. Goes low, and you're going to see coming into your screen there, Trent Jones come back and make the tackle, the defensive end. But, man, what an effort. And you got to look at him. That's because that could be one of those blindside hits, and the ball knocks free. But just a little look back there by Saylor. Just a great effort there by the young man.
51 yards on that run. First Bank red zone chance, the result of it. 23 locations across western North Carolina and the upstate of South Carolina to serve you. This toss to Welch, and Kingston Welch is down to the 15-yard line. Time just as precious as the scoring opportunity right now, Tom. Got to be very careful as we go inside 6.5 minutes to play if you're looking at it from those fans on the far side.
Yeah, you need to score as quickly as you can. And these guys, we talked about the number of young men going both ways. Got to be tired about this point in the ballgame.
Will it make a difference on the line trying to keep some of those players fresh, spelling them with different bodies in the early stages of this one? Flag comes in just ahead of the second down play as we're just inside 6 minutes to go. That's a false start. Going to back Cherokee up just a bit. Braves trying to get within a couple of possessions once again. It's a tall challenge in front of them right now. But this is a team that's shown its will to battle back in this football game here in the third and fourth quarters. Got trips near side. Heavy receiver package. Saylor going to set his feet, and that's in and out of the hands of his receiver and intercepted by Corey Stillwell. And that may be enough to get the job done. Stillwell on the tip drill right where he needed to be.
Tell you what, though, another opportunity to make that catch. A great job by Saylor trying to make something happen. Throws it over, and he's got a man there and just can't make that catch. It's probably another one of those situations where you probably feel like you could have caught it, but you didn't. And then, you know what? Ball goes up in the air. You're trained for this. Go make a play. And young man that excels on both sides of the football, the return game as well.
Rivalry game at times. Football's got to bounce your way. You think about 3 key turnovers in this contest that you circle now. The fumble into the end zone, Swain County was able to fall on, that turned aside the early scoring opportunity for their rivals. The interception that allowed that early advantage to be built of multiple scores. And this takeaway here on the tip drill by Corey Stillwell that will put the offense back out there with a chance to take some of this time and wind it on down toward what they are hoping is going to be another rivalry game victory against their foes.
Yeah, Stillwell used to catching ball, second leading receiver coming in. And again, Swain County playing without their leading receiver, Silas Stanberry, who was out with a broken foot last week. And
well, you got that, and now you got the tough situation of Zeke Glaspie's scenario. How will he be moving forward? When can he come back for this team? You hope it's nothing lingering for any of these players that have been injured on either side. But, Tom, that's a difference maker if Zeke Glaspie is affected the rest of the way for a team that's trying to control its destiny in the SMC.
Yeah, he was very good in the first half with about 90-some yards before he went out.
Well, and more than that, the weapon that he is that you have to honor alongside of Drew Cody very difference maker.
Yeah, he's the guy with the speedster, but we saw him also run tough up inside as well. And, you know, if you're Swain County, you go to Rossman, you'll be favored in that one, and then you're home with Murphy, and that one may be one that determines. Robbinsville will have something to say.
Yeah, they posted 60-some points tonight in a victory over Rossman. I think Rossman shut out in that contest, and that's what's ahead next, as you said, for the Swain County team looking to control their own destiny as they push toward a playoff bid in 2025. Timeout called for with 4:15 to play. As Swain County has a first down play coming on the other side of this pause. Gives us a chance to give you our school bus stop of the game. You just saw it a moment ago.
This is the school bus stop of the game. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
Corey Stillwell coming up on the tip drill, and this is what seems to have put the finishing touches on what looks like it's going to be a celebration for the home team. Corey Stillwell, right place, right time, Tom.
Yeah, he's been instrumental on both sides of the football. And young man, Saylor's been really good tonight as well, and had an opportunity for a big play there. Just didn't happen, but this is one of the things that you work on a lot, and talked about players going both ways. And I talked with both coaches about that.
School bus arm is out.
Back to action here as it is Drew Cody carrying the football over the left side. And a second down coming, more importantly to the home fans. The clock's going to work its way inside 4 minutes to play. 27-0 lead at the half. They withstood 14 unanswered from the Braves. And they have the most recent score, as well as that interception we just showed you a moment ago, which has put them in a position to salt away another key Smoky Mountain Conference win that is on the horizon if they can put this one on ice across the next 335 or so. Boy, both these teams showing you a little bit of their tested metal tonight and what they're made of. You saw it early on when Swain County had that bend but don't break opening drive. You saw it from Cherokee coming out in the second half, and you're seeing the physical nature of it now as Colton Schuler, who had one of the biggest runs of the night, 2-5, had that 50-yarder, which changed the tone of this game on the earlier drive, and he comes away with the first down here.
Yeah, it flipped the field position. It was a 27-14 game at that point, and Sawyer had gone out. It looked like he had a little bit of a cramp. He comes in, runs 50 yards, and just flipped the field, and eventually got the touchdown.
Colton Schuler, just 2 carries, but 62 yards on those 2 carries, the 50-yarder and that key 12-yard tote you just saw right there. Inside 3 minutes to play now on Hall of Fame weekend. One of the great names in the history of this program. Schuler, loose again. It's Colton Schuler this time around, and his 3 runs have racked up some major yardage tonight and given them plenty to cheer about here on the home side.
He had 7 carries for 110 yards. Only played a couple of ball games this year. Here tonight, 5'10", 165, sophomore.
35 more, and Tom, he has on 3 carries put himself on the doorstep of a 100-yard night. You know, you had 97 yards for Glaspie before he left the game injured. Cody's run for 135 tonight. Really, you got 3 backs that will have rushed for right at or more than 100 yards on the Swain County side with the work that's been done by Colton Schuler here in the 4th quarter. Back to Sawyer, and they're not even the 3 backs rushing it here for what is a multi-touchdown night. That's a second TD run for Sawyer, and all the different weapons on the ground, including this latest Foundation Solutions TD from Sawyer, enough for Swain County's Devils on this night.
Nothing fancy, just handed up inside, got it blocked, and we're giving you the numbers, but the unsung heroes, those that labor in the sea of anonymity, to a certain extent up front, the big guys. And I think Cherokee getting worn down a little bit here late.
John Stevenson works it through somehow. And it pushes it to 40-14 here at Swain County. Don't let game night dinner get you stressed. Stop by Ingles for great choices from the Ingles Deli, rotisserie chicken, freshly made salads, and a delicious hot bar and sub bar. Dinner and a snap, then it's off to the game. Ingles, low prices, love the savings. How do you respond when your rival comes out of the locker room and cuts your lead in half? Well, an 82-yard drive followed by an 81-yard drive. 5+ between them off the game clock. And it takes what was a 27-14 game. Those two drives make it a 40-14 game. And with over 400 yards of total offense tonight, Swain County can taste it with 2 minutes and change remaining here at home. And a return going to be up across the 20 to the 22. That's about all. And that's where the Braves will take over. Tom, you look at those 407 yards gained by Swain County tonight. Devils doing it a variety of different ways. They threw some key passes when they needed it. But the number of different individuals who made their mark on the ground in major ways is going to be one of the headlines tonight.
Well, you've got to be the next man up, so to speak. With Glaspie going down, he has been an instrumental part of the success they've had so far this year. And Sawyer's gotten in there a little bit this year as well. And Colton Schuler had not had a whole lot of opportunity, but man, here tonight, those three have really combined for a yeoman effort.
Well, think about the four. Andrew Cody, 19 carries, 135 yards. He had the first 4 touchdowns. Caden Sawyer, you mentioned it, 2 touchdowns tonight. 97 yards for Glaspie before he left injured, and Schuler with 97 yards on just 3 carries. And now it's up to the defense to put the finishing touches on this one. The guy who just had the interception a moment ago, Corey Stillwell, comes up and makes the stop.
Well, Swain County has had the football 9 times tonight, and they've scored 6 touchdowns. And you go back to the first half, 4 touchdowns, time ran out, punt, and a 27-14 game, 2 touchdowns for Cherokee to begin the second half after they struggled the first half, and then back-to-back TDs opened it up.
We mentioned it, long drives to get that done when I was walking through that just a moment ago. 1:24 left to play. Those drives, if you missed it, 82 yards and 81 yards to go ahead and create the separation. And now it's going to be 3rd down for the Braves. Well, you could say this about Cherokee. A lot of teams may not have come out in the second half with the fight we saw from this Braves squad, Tom. They came out, made this a 2-score game right away, and were in position perhaps to get a stop to tighten things up even closer. Speaks to what this team brings to the table, and no matter who's on the schedule down the stretch, this is a team that's a force to be reckoned with.
And Coach Cagle didn't get that job until the latter part of June to begin things, and, trying to get everybody on the same page. They played hard here tonight.
Makes a deep shot, and that will elude both Stillwell, who had designs on another INT, and Garcia, who was the intended receiver this time around, and it's going to be 4th down for the Braves.
Well, they'll play at Andrews, and then they've got Robbinsville at home. So a couple of ball games coming up to finishing things off. And talked about Swain County, and the loss they had in league play was at Robbinsville, 23-20 on a last-second field goal. So when you look at that Murphy and Swain County game coming up on Halloween, that ought to be a great night here at the ballpark.
4th down for the Braves. And again, tremendous 3rd quarter into the 4th quarter, second half. But it looks as if it's all going to come to a halt here as the stop is made. Look at this. Trent Jones, one of the talented leaders, defensive end for Swain County, and he's there to provide the ultimate stop with 1:09 to play.
And he's had a great night. 6'3", 255 senior off that left end.
Well, a reminder, next week we'll be back with you for another edition of Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. Heading to Irwin. Robertson and Irwin. That's a 7 o'clock airtime, 7:30 kick. Again next week. Look forward to having you with us on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. This one going to go in Swain County's back pocket. It belongs to the Maroon Devils, Tom, and this is a team that really bookended this game. Started with the 27-0 advantage that was built in the first half. Now, a little bit of difficulty on this snap, but it's going to be handled. And then just firing away on it is the sophomore backup quarterback, Aiden Kirkland, who's into the game here. Take a look at the job Aiden Kirkland does to avoid disaster here.
Yeah, he knows what he needs to do. He's being chased hard there. Just get it out of there. And
we're just kind of putting a bow on this one by saying book ended nicely. They had the 27 points they rushed out to get things started. In the end, come away with the 14 points after the 14 unanswered to stretch it out to 40-14. And going to keep it on the ground here, just try to expire those final minutes. And the ball's on the turf. Nothing's ever easy in the SMC, is it? Everything comes with the difficulty of just putting the finishing touches on this final minute. But a fumble that is going to send it back the other direction. Take another look as this one gets loose. Punched out of there nicely. Braves still giving you that best effort right down to the wire here, as you would expect.
Yeah, continue to play hard. You see Schuler there limping a little bit. That was a nice play by Preston Roach, and we called his name a couple times here tonight. But this has got to be a satisfying start for Swain County, given what happened last year.
Yes. And when you consider what's ahead and everything there for the taking, it's all on the horizon. That is too tall, and the clock will stop with 50 seconds remaining. Yeah, just talking about there before that turnover, it looks to be, from a separation standpoint, a game that, despite the hard-fought effort in this second half for the crew who represented themselves very well on the far side, it looks like this one's going to go in the home team's column. You look on down the line for he and his squad, the way they have bounced back from one year to the next, the way they bounced back and responded from one quarter to the next here in the fourth tonight, speaks to just how difficult a draw this Swain County team is going to be. Well, and how about the work of John Saylor that continues as he's still trying to make use of every opportunity here in the fourth quarter.
And he's played every single snap defensively at free safety. Drew Cody those 4 touchdowns as a quarterback in the first, and he played free safety tonight as well.
Just went over 100 yards personally, by the way, Tom's 14 carries for 117 yards. He's gone over the 100-yard mark on this drive. Welch carried the ball 20 times for right at 60 yards. That's the work that's been done on the ground for Cherokee tonight. And Saylor through the air, 7 completions and 65 yards. And then, had the touchdown tosses, the touchdowns that were scored. He was able to connect on through the air. So it's been a solid night for John Saylor, reminding you once again why he's been able to come back effectively the last couple of weeks and be a key piece to the puzzle for Cherokee.
And his versatility as a running back when he's not the quarterback, as a wide receiver or slot back, he's caught a couple passes as well.
Going to deliver another here. That's caught. Chula Hallencrane again, and he's fighting across the 50-yard line, has it into Swain County territory at the 45-yard line. A couple of those maroon jerseys just a little slow to get up here as the clock winds on down. Stopped with just inside 15 seconds to play to reset the chains. Actually, timeout being called by Cherokee here. Wow. Not going to go Cherokee's way on the scoreboard tonight, but what we saw from them in the second half, you tip your cap, Tom, for the way they came out and battled in this second half and are still doing so right down to the final second of this football game. What's ahead for Cherokee?
Yeah, didn't have a whole lot of time to get together to a certain extent. Coach Cagle with an extensive background as well, talks about Coach Holt as well. But his ability and the success he's had prior places, give him a little bit of time and kind of get everybody on the same page and get in what he wants to do offensively, defensively. They played hard. They were down big at half, got back in it, but
played them 14 all second half when you look at the way things were, in essence there, a couple of scores on each side. Though it looks like this one's going to end up going the way of Swain County. And another long toss, and that'll fall to the turf. That's incomplete with 5 seconds remaining.
They continuing to play hard, both sides of the football. I think that was Jones again that was trying to run him down. Those two guys have had a couple of meetings here tonight.
You're going to get everything you expect out of it. You look at some of the total numbers for these two teams 407 yards we referenced earlier for Swain. Cherokee knocking on the doorstep of 270 yards now. 176 on the ground, 93 through the air. It split 389 on the ground, 18 through the air for Swain, if you're wondering about it, how they accumulated the 407. Turnovers key, 3 of them proving costly. The one area that, you know, the Braves would focus on moving forward. On this final play of the football game, diving in there to try and make the interception, Evan Ball. Clock expires either way, and 40-14 will be the final. Bookended beautifully with a 27-point surge in the first half and a couple of key scores to salt it away down the stretch. We'll be back to wrap it on the other side of the break. Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure. Pleasure. Yep. Thank you. Appreciate you. Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it. Yep. Yeah, if you want to leave those up, that'd be great. I'm going to take a photo of this too. Well, the first 4 touchdowns tonight belong to that young man. He put his team up 27-0. Drew Cody on a night where he runs for well over 100 yards, up over 150 yards tonight. Leads his team to 407 yards total offense. And that 27-0 advantage he built early made all the difference, Tom. They would score a couple of touchdowns late when they needed it most, but it was his work. Drew Cody, 19 carries, 135 yards, had 3 other backs, one of which scored a couple of touchdowns. The other 2 ended with 97, Glaspie and Schuler, and, of course, Sawyer scoring the other 2 touchdowns. Just a combined joint effort. And when you got that many backs doing that much good work, guys up front were pretty good, right? Time for them to receive the Bojangles Trophy. Let's go downfield side to Nelson for the presentation.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Contest. Well, Coach, first thing is first. Congratulations on a phenomenal win here tonight. Now, in the first half of the game, it was all the Maroon Devils, 27-0 at the half. Now, in the third quarter, those Braves gave y'all a run for your money. They put some points on the board. However, in the fourth quarter, the power of the Maroon Devils, y'all had a serious resurgence here tonight, Coach. Let's talk about that. Yeah, y'all make some noise back there. Let's talk about that fourth quarter resurgence, Coach.
Yeah, I told them in the quarter change, I said, guys, we got to stop this snowball from rolling down the hill, get it back going towards the top of the mountain. Our guys locked in. Offensively, we got in the paint, and our kids played their tails off. I'm proud of them, and, you know, I love them, and we're proud to be Maroon Devils.
Yes, sir. Now, Coach, let's talk as well, because this game meant everything for you and your Maroon Devils here tonight. Your game is being televised. Friday Night Rivals is in the house for the first time. This is a rematch from last year. This is also a big-time rivalry matchup as well. How important was this game for you and your team?
Well, our guys, we told them all week, you know, when we play Cherokee, this is for our county championship. You know, we share land inside Swain County, and, you know, it means a lot to our kids. It means a lot to our Native American kids, and you know, we're just glad that we come in. They were well prepared, and they played their tails off, and this means a lot to us in Swain County.
Now, Coach, with tonight's win, you guys have now locked in a 5-3 record. As we look towards the final few games of the regular season, what can we expect from you and the Maroon Devils?
We're going to lock in on Monday and get ready for the Rosman Tigers, and just got to keep winning. Our destinies in front of us. We're playing for a conference championship.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, this belongs to you. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations, Coach.
mutual respect, whole lot of community, and certainly family-type love between these two. And anytime the rivals get together, bragging rights on the line, Swain County. We said it, bookending this game nicely. 27-0 lead early. They do enough to capitalize late and carry home the Bojangles trophy. How about this one, Tom?
Yeah, I think both teams can take some positive, a lot of positive from Swain County from their standpoint, because they had a problem with losing the running back and what they were able to accomplish. And then Cherokee didn't go away. They gave them a battle in the second half.
Well, a big night for so many of the key contributors. 407 yards of total offense. Ends up with 40 on the board. And Swain County pulls away with a W. What a gorgeous environment, a picturesque setting, and a nice Friday night under the lights. So glad you're with us. Look forward to seeing you next week. We got Robertson Irwin coming your way as the bus rolls on. Friday Night Rivals continues next Friday.